The spaceship descended through the purple clouds of Viralia, its metal hull gleaming in the soft light of the twin suns. Human explorer. Leo felt the familiar hum of the engines beneath his feet as the craft slowed for landing. He had traveled through countless stars, seen worlds of ice and fire, deserts and oceans, but Viralia was different. The planet's surface shimmered with colors he had never imagined, and strange patterns moved across the sky like living paintings. Leo stepped out of the ship, feeling the soft, spongy ground beneath his boots. The air smelled sharp and sweet at the same time, filling his lungs with unfamiliar freshness. Around him, alien structures rose like towers of crystal and metal, glowing faintly in the sunlight. This was the capital city, a place ruled by the Virelian monarchy for centuries. Its citizens moved gracefully, tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered faintly in shades of green and blue. As he walked toward the grand palace at the center of the city, Leo noticed the curious glances of the people. Humans were rare on Viralia, almost like myths in their stories. He had heard tales of other humans who had visited, but he wanted to see the planet for himself, not as a legend but as a guest, a visitor who could prove that humans could adapt, survive, and thrive. The palace gates opened silently as he approached, recognizing him as someone invited by the monarchy. Inside, the hall was filled with high ceilings and floating lights that moved like fireflies. Leo's eyes adjusted to the brilliance as he walked carefully, noting the elegance of every detail. He had learned to observe everything, because understanding a new world required attention to small details that could make all the difference. From a balcony above, Princess Mira watched him. She had heard rumors of the human who had arrived on her planet, a creature different from any she had seen. Curiosity stirred within her. Humans were said to be weak, fragile, and unpredictable. Yet this one walked through her city with confidence. Her violet eyes studied him as he entered the palace hall. Suddenly, the quiet was broken by a commotion outside. A group of rebels had sneaked into the palace grounds and they were trying to create chaos. Guards rushed forward, their elongated weapons glowing as they prepared to defend the palace. Mira's heart raced. She had trained in diplomacy, politics, and etiquette, but not in facing sudden danger. Her body tensed as she considered her options. From the crowd of advisors and guards, Mira's gaze found Leo. He stood calmly, as if he already knew what to do. Something in his posture reassured her. Without thinking, she raised her voice over the chaos. "Can you defend me?" she asked, her words clear and commanding. The hall fell silent for a moment. Everyone turned to look at Leo. Could this human really defend a princess against armed attackers? Some whispered that humans were fragile, that they could not survive on Viralia for long. But Leo only nodded. His eyes were steady, his expression calm. "Yes," he said simply. The rebels pushed forward, expecting to overwhelm the guards. But Leo stepped ahead, positioning himself between Mira and the approaching threat. He moved with speed and precision that was unusual, even for trained warriors. His hands blocked, twisted, and redirected strikes that came toward him. The guards paused, surprised at his skill, unsure if they should intervene or let him handle it. Mira watched, astonished. This human, whom she had thought fragile, was holding his ground. His movements were fluid and efficient. He did not panic. He did not hesitate. Every strike he made was measured, every movement intentional. The rebels faltered, confused by his style. It was unlike anything they had encountered before. One rebel lunged at Mira with a glowing blade. In a heartbeat, Leo intercepted the attack. His body moved with speed that seemed almost impossible, and with a calculated push, he sent the attacker tumbling to the ground. Mira could not believe her eyes. Humans were supposed to be weaker than Virelians, yet this human was outmatching seasoned fighters. The battle continued, short and intense. Leo did not fight for glory or pride. He fought to protect Mira and those around him. Each time a rebel approached, he anticipated their moves, using not just strength but intelligence. He improvised with the environment, using pillars, steps, and walls to his advantage. The rebels had never faced a fighter like him, someone who combined brain and body in perfect balance. After what felt like minutes, the last of the attackers were either captured or had fled. Guards rushed forward to secure the palace, but Mira's eyes stayed on Leo. He had defended her without hesitation, without fear. She could feel her perception of humans changing in that moment. They were not just fragile creatures as she had been taught. They were capable of courage, strength, and strategy that could rival anyone on Virelia. "Thank you," Mira said quietly, her voice filled with a mix of awe and curiosity. Leo simply nodded, brushing off the dust from his sleeves. "It is my duty to protect," he replied. His voice was calm, yet it carried a weight that suggested he had faced many dangers before. The palace council arrived soon after, their faces a mixture of relief and skepticism. They had witnessed the human protect the princess, but some were not convinced. "How can one human match the strength of trained Virelians?" one elder asked, frowning. "It is unnatural," another whispered. Mira stepped forward, her expression firm. "Do not question what you saw. The human has shown courage and skill. That is enough." Her voice carried authority, and the council fell silent. She felt a spark of hope. Perhaps humans could bring new ideas, new strategies, and new strength to her world. Perhaps Leo could help her navigate challenges that she could not face alone. After the chaos subsided, Mira invited Leo to walk with her through the palace gardens. The gardens were vast, filled with alien flowers that glowed softly in the sunlight. Trees with silver leaves shimmered in the wind, and streams of clear water flowed in patterns that reflected the sky. Mira's heart calmed as she walked beside the human who had just defended her life. "I did not expect a human to be so strong," she said quietly. "You moved as if you had trained your entire life for this." Leo smiled faintly. "Humans survive in difficult conditions. We learn to adapt quickly. Strength is not only about muscle. It is about thinking, observing, and acting when it matters most." Mira nodded slowly. She had always believed that Virelians were superior in every way, that humans were fragile and weak. Yet here was proof to the contrary. A single human had faced danger with courage, skill, and calmness. She realized that she had much to learn about humans. As they walked deeper into the gardens, Mira asked, "Will you stay on Virelia, human? Can you help us understand your kind?" Leo looked up at the twin suns, then back at the princess. "I came here to explore, to learn, and to help where I can. If you allow me, I will stay." Mira felt a sense of relief and excitement. A new ally, a new perspective, and perhaps a new future awaited her world. The humans were not just visitors. They were capable, brave, and wise in ways she had yet to understand. The day ended with Mira watching Leo train in the gardens. He moved with purpose and precision, demonstrating skills she had never seen. Each movement reflected not just strength but intelligence. Mira could feel a new hope rising within her. Perhaps with humans by her side, Virelia could face the dangers of the universe with confidence. As the twin suns set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the palace, Mira realized something important. Humans were unpredictable, different, and full of surprises. They could challenge assumptions, overcome obstacles, and inspire even the most cautious hearts. And perhaps, she thought with a small smile, she had just met one human who could change everything. The first day on Virelia ended quietly, but for Mira and Leo, it was only the beginning. Danger, politics, and adventure awaited them, and together they would discover the true potential of human courage and strength. The princess had asked for protection and the human had delivered. Yet neither of them knew just how far this partnership would go, or the challenges that would test them both in ways neither had imagined. The morning sun rose over Virelia, casting long streaks of gold and violet across the palace towers. The twin suns painted the sky in colors that seemed unreal, but for Princess Mira, today was not a day for admiring beauty. The events of the previous day weighed heavily on her mind. The rogue faction that had tried to attack her was still at large, and although Leo had protected her, the threat to her life and her kingdom was far from over. Mira walked through the palace corridors with purpose. Guards and servants paused to give her way, whispering about the human who had defended her. Some spoke with awe, some with disbelief. Leo's calm presence had unsettled many, and that alone made him remarkable. Mira had seen bravery before, but not in a being so different from herself. She found Leo in the training hall. His movements were precise and steady, practicing strikes and blocks as if the previous day's battle had been only a warm-up. When he saw Mira enter, he straightened and nodded respectfully. "Good morning, Princess," he said. "Are you well?" "I am," Mira replied, though her voice betrayed her concern. "But I am not certain the danger is gone. Those who attacked yesterday may return, stronger and more organized. I need to know that you can handle what comes next." Leo's eyes reflected calm determination. I can defend you and I can adapt to any situation. Humans survive by learning quickly and using their mind as well as their body. Mira studied him. His confidence was unshakable, yet not arrogant. It was clear that he had faced danger before, and he was not afraid of what lay ahead. Mira realized that courage could take many forms, and Leo's was one she had never seen before. The council gathered later that morning. They had been discussing the security of the palace since the attack. Some argued for more guards, stronger walls, and heavier defenses. Others whispered that the presence of humans was dangerous and unpredictable. Mira listened quietly, understanding the fear behind their words, but she also knew that fear alone could not protect her people. I have made a decision, Mira said, her voice calm but firm. Leo will accompany me. He will not only protect me, but also help us understand the strength humans possess. We cannot dismiss courage because it comes from a different source than our own. The council murmured, but Mira ignored them. She knew the world was changing, and she could feel it in her bones. The alliance between humans and Virelians might be the key to survival. Later, Leo and Mira walked through the palace courtyard. The garden paths were lined with glowing flowers, and the air smelled of sweet nectar. Mira's mind was on the coming test. She had arranged a controlled challenge for Leo, a way to see if he could handle danger in unexpected ways. It was not meant to be a battle, but a test of courage, intelligence, and instinct. A sudden alarm echoed through the courtyard. Mira's heart skipped a beat. She had hoped this would be a simulation, but the alert was real. Leo's eyes narrowed, scanning the surroundings. A group of the rogue faction had returned, attempting to breach the palace from the rear gates. This was the test, and it had arrived unannounced. Stay close to me, Mira said, stepping back. She felt fear, but it was tempered by trust. She knew Leo would not fail. Leo moved with calm efficiency. He positioned himself between Mira and the advancing threat, observing their movements carefully. Unlike the previous day, this group was larger and more coordinated. They expected to overwhelm the defenders quickly, but Leo's strategy was different. He did not charge recklessly. Instead, he waited for the right moment, using the terrain to his advantage. Columns and walls became tools, and even the uneven ground worked in his favor. He anticipated each move, predicting the attacker's intentions with precision. One of the rebels tried to flank him, thinking the human would be distracted by numbers. Leo pivoted smoothly, grabbing a metal rod from the courtyard and using it to redirect the attacker's momentum. The rebel stumbled and fell, surprised by the human's ingenuity. Mira watched in astonishment. Every move Leo made was calculated. He was not only strong but intelligent, using his mind as much as his body to overcome challenges. She realized that this was human strength in its purest form. Courage, intelligence, and adaptability combined. The battle continued. Leo did not seek to harm the attackers unnecessarily, but he moved with authority and skill. He disarmed, redirected, and subdued, always keeping Mira safe. The palace guards, initially hesitant, began to follow his lead, impressed by his strategy. Mira could feel her respect for him growing with every moment. He was more than a protector. He was a teacher, showing her and the palace how to face danger with clear thinking and bravery. After what felt like hours, but was only minutes, the attackers were finally cornered. Leo used a clever maneuver, trapping them in a narrow alley where they could not escape. The palace guards captured them swiftly, following the human's instructions. Mira approached Leo, her heart still racing. I did not know humans could be so capable, she said softly. You are not only strong but clever. You think ahead, anticipate danger, and act without fear. Leo smiled faintly. Humans survive by learning quickly and staying calm. Strength is more than physical power. It is courage, observation, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. Mira nodded. She realized that she had underestimated humans, assuming they were fragile and weak. Leo had proven that courage could come from unexpected places and that humans could be more than they seemed. The palace council arrived shortly after the fight ended. They had watched from a distance, unsure of what to expect. Some whispered doubts, but others were impressed by Leo's performance. This human is remarkable, Mira said aloud. He has defended me, protected the palace, and outsmarted trained attackers. We must learn from him, not doubt him. The council murmured, some reluctantly agreeing. Mira could feel the shift in their thinking. Perhaps humans were not only visitors to Virelia, but potential allies who could bring new perspectives and strength. Later, Mira and Leo walked along the palace walls, overlooking the city. The streets were calm now, but the tension remained. Danger could return at any time, and Mira knew she needed to be prepared. "Do you think they will come back?" she asked, her voice quiet. "Perhaps," Leo replied. "But humans survive by adapting. We face challenges and learn from them. If they return, we will be ready." Mira felt a sense of reassurance she had never known. Leo's presence was not just protection. It was a promise that she and her kingdom could face the unknown with courage and intelligence. As they watched the twin suns set over the city, Mira realized something important. Humans were unpredictable, capable of strength in ways she had never imagined. They could inspire courage, teach new strategies, and face danger with determination. Leo was more than a protector. He was a symbol of what humans could bring to her world: hope, intelligence, and bravery. The day ended with Mira inviting Leo to dine with her in the palace hall. The room was filled with the warm glow of floating lights, and the air smelled of exotic spices. They spoke quietly, sharing thoughts about strategy, danger, and the future. Mira asked questions about his experiences, and Leo answered with honesty, humility, and insight. By the time the evening came, Mira felt a growing trust in Leo. He was more than a human visitor. He was an ally, a teacher, and perhaps a friend. She could sense that together, they could face challenges that would test both their courage and their intelligence. The night on Virelia was calm, but Mira knew that danger was never far away. Yet for the first time, she did not feel fear. She felt hope. The human by her side had proven that courage could take many forms, and that sometimes the greatest strength came from unexpected places. As the twin moons rose over the horizon, casting silver light across the palace gardens, Mira understood that her world had changed. Humans were not weak. They were brave, clever, and capable of inspiring even the most cautious hearts. And Leo was living proof that one human could make a difference in ways she had never imagined. Tomorrow, the challenges would return. But for now, Mira allowed herself a moment of peace, knowing that the human she had trusted had passed the test of courage. The adventure on Virelia had only begun, and the bond between human and princess would shape the future of the planet in ways that no one could yet foresee. The next morning, the palace of Virelia was calm, yet tension lingered in the air. The attack from the rogue faction had left many guards anxious, and whispers of the human who had protected Princess Mira circulated through the halls. People were curious, some skeptical, and some even fearful of the abilities Leo had displayed. Mira walked through the gardens, her mind heavy with questions. Humans were unlike Virelians in many ways, and yet this one human had shown courage and strength beyond what she had imagined. She could not help but wonder, what made humans so different? What secrets lay within them that allowed them to survive in ways Virelians could not? Leo joined her in the gardens, carrying a small satchel. He had been studying the plants and the terrain, learning the environment of Virelia with the same careful attention he had shown during the attacks. Mira approached him cautiously, curiosity shining in her violet eyes. "Leo," she began, "I want to understand humans better. You have shown strength and intelligence that I did not expect. How do you do it?" Leo paused, considering his words. "Strength is not only about muscle," he said. "It is about courage, observation, and learning from every situation. Humans face challenges every day, sometimes against greater odds. We survive by thinking, adapting, and acting when it matters most." Mira listened carefully. She had studied strategy, diplomacy, and leadership, yet she realized that humans had a different kind of intelligence. It was not just logic or knowledge, but instinct, adaptability, and courage, combined in a way that allowed them to overcome dangers that seemed impossible. "Can you show me?" Mira asked. "I want to see your strength, not just in battle, but in understanding and strategy." Leo nodded. "If you wish, Princess. But strength comes from awareness, not just action. You must learn to see the world as it is, not only as it appears." They began to walk through the palace courtyard and surrounding streets. Leo pointed out potential dangers, places where a rogue faction could hide and routes that could be used to escape or counterattack. Mira noticed how he observed everything, from small details in the ground to the behavior of guards and citizens. He anticipated challenges before they arrived, always thinking 2 steps ahead. "This is remarkable," Mira said. "You see possibilities that others do not. You prepare without panic and you act with confidence." Leo smiled faintly. Humans survive by learning quickly. When faced with danger, we observe first, then act. We combine intelligence with courage. That is why we can face threats that seem greater than ourselves. Mira felt a growing respect for him. She had always believed that strength was measured by size or skill alone. But she could see now that intelligence, courage, and adaptability were just as important. Humans had something unique, something that could change the way Virelia approached challenges. As they walked, Leo demonstrated practical applications of human thinking. He showed how to use the environment to gain advantage, how to anticipate the moves of attackers, and how to remain calm under pressure. Mira followed closely, absorbing every lesson. She began to see the human ability to combine strategy with action, turning potential danger into opportunity. Later, in a private chamber, Mira asked Leo about his past. "Have you always been this capable?" she inquired. "Or did you train for this life?" Leo considered for a moment. "I have trained, yes, but strength comes from experience as much as training. Humans learn from life itself. Every challenge we face teaches us something. Every failure or danger becomes a lesson. That is how we grow." Mira nodded slowly. She understood that his strength was not sudden or accidental. It was built from years of learning, observing, and surviving. It was a combination of mental discipline and physical skill, and it made him unpredictable, clever, and formidable. As the day passed, Mira decided to introduce Leo to the palace guards and advisors in a more controlled setting. She wanted them to understand that human strength was not only physical but also mental. A small training exercise was arranged in the courtyard. The guards lined up, armed with standard Virelian weapons, while Leo moved among them. He demonstrated techniques that emphasized observation, timing, and anticipation. The guards tried to follow, but Leo's movements were unlike anything they had seen. He showed how to use the terrain, how to remain calm under pressure, and how to anticipate attacks before they came. Mira watched with fascination. The guards were skilled, but they struggled to match Leo's combination of intelligence and action. It was not arrogance or dominance that gave him power. It was his ability to think clearly and act decisively. After the demonstration, some guards approached Leo with questions. They wanted to learn, to understand how humans thought and how they could apply some of these strategies in their own training. Mira realized that Leo's presence could change the palace forever. He was not just a protector but a teacher, showing new ways of thinking that could strengthen Virelia in unexpected ways. That evening, Mira and Leo walked along the palace walls, overlooking the city. The twin suns had set, leaving streaks of pink and purple in the sky. Mira felt a sense of calm but also excitement. Humans were different, unpredictable, and capable of greatness. Leo had proven it not only through battle but through insight and understanding. "Do you think humans are different in every way?" Mira asked. Leo considered. "We are different, yes. But different does not mean weaker. Humans have strengths that others cannot see until they face them. Courage, intelligence, adaptability, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. These are the ways humans survive and succeed." Mira smiled. She realized that she had underestimated humans for too long. Leo had not only protected her, but had also taught her to see the potential in beings she had once dismissed. Humans were more than legends or visitors. They were allies, capable of changing the world with courage and intelligence. In the following days, Mira arranged meetings between Leo and the palace council. She wanted them to understand that humans could offer more than strength in battle. They could provide strategy, insight, and new ways of thinking that could help Virelia face future threats. Some members of the council were skeptical, but others were intrigued. They asked questions, tested Leo with challenges, and watched as he demonstrated not just skill but clever thinking. Slowly, they began to see what Mira had seen: the unique combination of human courage, intelligence, and adaptability. One evening, Mira and Leo returned to the gardens. The air was filled with the scent of glowing flowers, and soft lights floated among the trees. Mira looked at him, her eyes filled with admiration. "You have shown me much," she said. "Not just strength, but understanding. Humans are capable of more than I ever imagined. You have changed the way I see my world." Leo smiled. "I only wish to help. Humans survive by learning, adapting, and facing challenges. That is all we do. But sometimes we can inspire others to do the same." Mira felt a deep sense of hope. With Leo's guidance, the palace guards could learn new strategies. The council could adopt new ways of thinking, and her people could face dangers with courage and intelligence. Humans were not weak. They were strong in ways that mattered most. That night, Mira reflected on the events of the past days. The attacks, the demonstrations, and the lessons had all shown her one thing clearly. Humans were capable of greatness. Leo was proof of that. His presence had shifted her perspective, and she knew that Virelia would never be the same again. The rogue faction still lurked somewhere on the planet, but Mira no longer felt fear. She had a human ally who could teach, protect, and inspire. Together, they could face whatever challenges awaited. As the twin moons rose over the horizon, casting silver light across the palace, Mira felt a sense of excitement. The world was changing, and humans were part of that change. Leo's strength was not just physical, but mental and moral. He had shown her that courage came in many forms and that one human could make a difference far beyond what anyone expected. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and perhaps new dangers. But Mira was ready. She had seen the potential in humans, and she had learned that strength was not measured only by power or skill, but by courage, intelligence, and the ability to act when it mattered most. With Leo at her side, Mira felt ready to face the future. Humans were unpredictable, brave, and capable of greatness, and this human had shown her that the destiny of Virelia could be shaped not just by the strongest or the most skilled, but by those who dared to think, to act, and to protect what they cared for. The night passed peacefully, but Mira knew it was only the calm before the next test. Leo had proven himself, but their journey was far from over. New challenges awaited, and with humans by her side, Mira felt confident that they could face anything together. For the first time, she believed in the strength of a human heart, mind, and spirit. And she knew that this strength would be needed more than ever in the days to come. The palace of Virelia was alive with activity. News of the human who had defended Princess Mira spread quickly, and curiosity filled the halls. Some whispered admiration, while others remained cautious. But Mira did not have time to dwell on opinions. The attacks from the rogue faction suggested a deeper threat, and she needed answers. She found Leo in the courtyard, practicing with a wooden staff. His movements were calm and measured, each strike precise, each block deliberate. Mira approached him with urgency in her steps. "Leo," she said, "I have learned that the attacks were not random. Someone is trying to weaken the monarchy, to create chaos and seize power. We must find out who is behind this." Leo paused, nodding thoughtfully. Humans face danger by looking for patterns. If these attacks are connected, there must be signs. We must observe, gather information, and act carefully. Mira admired his approach. The rogue faction had acted quickly and violently, but Leo's method was patient and strategic. It was clear that humans could see solutions differently, blending caution with action. Together they began investigating the palace and the city. They spoke with guards, advisors, and merchants, piecing together fragments of information. Some spoke of secret meetings in hidden parts of the city. Others mentioned unusual shipments and gatherings at night. Slowly, a pattern emerged. The rogue faction was part of a larger conspiracy, working with unknown allies to destabilize the monarchy. Mira realized the danger was far greater than she had imagined. This was no ordinary rebellion. It was a coordinated plan to take control of her kingdom. She turned to Leo. "Can we stop them?" she asked, her voice steady but filled with concern. Leo studied the maps and notes spread across the table. "We can, but we must be smart. Strength alone will not win. We need allies, strategy, and the element of surprise. Humans survive by acting with intelligence and courage at the same time. That is how we succeed." Mira nodded. She trusted him completely. Together, they began to plan. Leo suggested dividing their efforts. Some would observe the conspirators, others would secure the palace, and a select group would confront the faction when the time was right. The plan required coordination, trust, and precise timing. The next day, Mira introduced Leo to a small team of loyal Virelians. They were skilled, disciplined, and dedicated to the monarchy. Some were hesitant about working closely with a human, But Leo's calm demeanor and clear intelligence earned their respect quickly. "Follow my instructions carefully," Leo said. "Do not act out of fear. Observe, anticipate, and adapt. Every move you make will affect the outcome. We succeed by thinking, not just by fighting." The team trained with him throughout the day. Leo demonstrated tactics that combined intelligence, speed, and strategy. He showed how to use the environment, how to anticipate an opponent's moves, and how to act decisively when the moment arrived. The Virelians learned quickly, impressed by his methods and the effectiveness of his training. Meanwhile, Mira coordinated with palace advisors preparing for potential attacks. She made sure defenses were in place but did not rely solely on walls and guards. She understood that intelligence and courage could be as powerful as weapons, and Leo's presence reinforced that lesson. That evening, Leo and Mira moved quietly through the city, following leads from their investigation. Shadows shifted as they observed secret meetings and hidden paths. Mira was cautious, yet confident, knowing that the human beside her was capable of handling danger in ways she had never imagined. They discovered a hidden base used by the conspirators, a place filled with plans, weapons, and messages indicating their next moves. Leo studied the information carefully, noting weaknesses, potential traps, and opportunities to counteract their plans. "These people are organized," Leo said, "but they are predictable if we watch closely. Their overconfidence is their weakness. We can use it to our advantage." Mira nodded. She realized that humans had a unique way of analyzing problems. They did not rely only on strength or training, but on observation, intelligence, and adaptability. Leo had shown her that courage alone was not enough. It had to be combined with strategy and understanding. The following days were filled with preparation. Mira and Leo coordinated with palace forces, trained loyal Virelians, and set plans in motion to confront the conspirators. The human strategies were unconventional, but they were effective. He emphasized patience, timing, and careful execution over brute force, teaching Mira and her allies that intelligence and courage together could overcome even the most dangerous threats. Finally, the day arrived to confront the rogue faction. Mira and Leo led a group of loyal Virelians through the city, approaching the conspirators' base under cover of darkness. Every step was planned, every move deliberate. The conspirators had no idea that their plans had been discovered, and they were unprepared for the human strategy. Leo moved with precision, directing the loyal forces with calm authority. The conspirators attempted to fight, but their coordination was disrupted by the unexpected tactics. They were not prepared for the combination of strategy and courage displayed by the human and his allies. Mira watched amazed as Leo neutralized threats with intelligence and skill. He did not seek unnecessary violence, but acted decisively to protect her and her people. The conspirators were overwhelmed, unable to match the combination of human ingenuity and Virelian skill. When the battle ended, the rogue faction was captured, and the hidden base was secured. Mira turned to Leo, her eyes filled with gratitude and respect. "You have done more than protect me," she said. "You have saved my kingdom and shown us a new way to face danger. Humans are stronger than I ever imagined." Leo smiled, though his expression remained calm. "We survive by learning, adapting, and acting when it matters. That is what humans do. Courage, intelligence, and teamwork can overcome even the most difficult challenges." Mira realized that his words were more than a lesson. They were a philosophy, one that could change the way her kingdom approached threats. Humans were not only capable of defending themselves, but also of inspiring others to be stronger, smarter, and braver. The Palace Council acknowledged the success of the operation. Many were impressed by Leo's methods and his ability to coordinate with Virelians effectively. Some remained skeptical, but even they could not deny the results. The rogue faction was neutralized, and the conspiracy had been uncovered. In the following days, Mira worked closely with Leo to improve the kingdom's defenses and strategies. She arranged meetings, planning sessions, and training exercises, all under the humans' guidance. Slowly, the palace forces began to adopt new ways of thinking, learning to combine strength with intelligence, courage with strategy. Mira felt a growing sense of hope. The humans were not only allies but teachers, showing her and her people new ways to face the challenges of the universe. Leo's presence had changed the palace, and perhaps one day, all of Virelia would benefit from the lessons he had brought. One evening, Mira and Leo stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns had set, leaving a soft glow on the horizon. Mira spoke quietly, her thoughts reflective. "You have taught us much, Leo. Humans are capable of so much more than I realized. Your courage and intelligence have saved my kingdom and opened my eyes to a new future." Leo nodded. "It is not only my strength. Humans survive by working together, learning from each other, and acting when it matters. Your kingdom has the potential to do the same. Courage and intelligence combined can change everything." Mira smiled. She understood that the bond between humans and Virelians could shape the future. With Leo by her side, she felt confident that they could face whatever threats awaited them. The rogue faction had been defeated, but new challenges would come. Together, human and princess could face them, combining courage, intelligence, and strategy. That night, Mira reflected on the events of the past days. She had learned that humans were not weak, fragile, or unpredictable in the way she had been taught. They were brave, clever, and capable of inspiring others. Leo had proven that a single human could change the outcome of events, not only by fighting, but by teaching, guiding, and planning. The alliance between Mira and Leo had been formed not just by necessity but by trust, respect, and shared courage. Together they had uncovered a conspiracy, neutralized a threat, and strengthened the palace forces. And Mira knew that this partnership would continue to shape the kingdom's future. The night on Virelia was calm, but the princess and the human knew that it was only a momentary peace. New dangers would arise, new conspiracies would appear, and new challenges would test their courage and intelligence. But with humans as allies, and with Leo's guidance, Mira felt ready for whatever lay ahead. She looked at Leo, her heart filled with confidence and hope. "Thank you," she said simply. "You have done more than I could have imagined." Leo smiled. "It is only the beginning, Princess. Together, we can face anything." The city slept under the glow of the twin moons, unaware that the bond between a human and a princess had changed the destiny of Virelia. And as the stars shone brightly above, Mira knew that the future held promise, courage, and strength beyond what anyone had thought possible. The sun rose over Virelia, casting soft golden light across the palace. The city was calm, but Princess Mira knew that peace was only temporary. The rogue faction might have been stopped, but the forces behind them were still plotting. Leo had warned her that danger would come again, and this time it would be greater. Mira walked through the palace courtyard, her violet eyes focused. She was determined, but she was not alone. Leo walked beside her, calm and confident. The human's presence had changed the palace. Guards and advisors moved with a new sense of purpose, inspired by the lessons they had learned. Courage, intelligence, and strategy had become a part of their thinking. "Are you ready?" Mira asked quietly. Leo nodded. "I am ready. And so are your people. Together we can face whatever comes." Their preparations had been thorough. They had trained the palace guards, reinforced defenses, and gathered information about the conspirators. Mira had also consulted with loyal advisors, making sure every plan had a contingency. Leo had helped her see the importance of strategy, not just strength. Together, they had created a force capable of facing the largest threats. That evening, the alarm rang out. A new wave of the rogue faction had launched an attack, this time larger and more organized. They sought to capture Mira and seize control of the palace. But they had not counted on the preparation, intelligence, and courage of the defenders. Leo moved swiftly, coordinating the palace guards and positioning them for maximum advantage. His presence inspired confidence. The Virelians followed his strategies carefully, using their skills in combination with his human tactics. Mira stayed close to Leo, observing and learning. She realized that the strength of humans was not only in fighting but in planning, understanding, and adapting. Leo had proven this time and again, and now the kingdom would benefit from it fully. The attack began with a wave of armored fighters, rushing toward the palace gates. Leo moved like a shadow, anticipating their movements. He directed the guards to hold positions, using choke points and obstacles to slow the attackers. Each move was precise, calculated, and effective. The first wave of attackers faltered. They had expected to overwhelm the palace with sheer force, but they found themselves outsmarted. Leo used both observation and agility to counter threats, intercepting strikes and redirecting attackers without unnecessary violence. The palace guards followed his lead, working together as a cohesive unit for the first time. Mira watched in amazement. Every action Leo took demonstrated courage and intelligence. He moved with confidence, not arrogance, teaching the defenders by example. The rogue faction was strong, but they were not prepared for the combination of human ingenuity and Varelian skill. The battle grew more intense. Some attackers attempted to flank the defenders, seeking to create chaos. Leo anticipated these moves, positioning himself strategically to protect Mira and coordinate the defense. His tactics were fluid, adapting to the changing situation as it unfolded. Mira felt her respect and trust in humans deepen. They were not weak. They were brave, intelligent, and capable of inspiring others to perform beyond their limits. Leo had taught her that strength was not only in muscle or skill, but in thinking, adapting, and acting decisively. The climax of the battle came when the rogue faction's leader emerged, commanding the remaining forces. He was tall, strong, and ruthless, expecting to break the palace defenders with sheer force. Leo stepped forward, meeting him with calm determination. "You will not harm the princess or the people of this kingdom," Leo said firmly. The leader laughed, underestimating the human before him. He charged, expecting to overpower Leo quickly. But Leo moved with speed, intelligence, and precision. Every strike was calculated, every move anticipating the opponent's actions. The fight was not only physical, but a battle of wits and strategy. Mira watched as Leo countered the leader's attacks, using his environment and quick thinking. He blocked, dodged, and redirected, never relying on brute force alone. The rogue leader's confidence faltered as he realized that Leo was not an ordinary human. He was clever, courageous, and capable of controlling the battlefield. The palace guards, inspired by Leo's courage, joined strategically. They did not act recklessly, but followed the human's instructions, combining their strength with his intelligence. The rogue faction's forces were overwhelmed, unable to adapt to the coordinated defense. In the final moments, Leo used a calculated maneuver to disarm the leader, sending him sprawling to the ground. The remaining attackers surrendered, recognizing the skill and intelligence of their opponents. The battle was won. Mira approached Leo, her heart filled with admiration and gratitude. "You have done more than protect me," she said. "You have saved my kingdom and shown us a new way to face challenges. Humans are stronger and wiser than I ever imagined." Leo smiled, though his expression remained calm. "Strength is more than physical. Courage, intelligence, and the ability to adapt are what make humans capable. But this victory was not mine alone. Your people fought bravely and followed strategy. Together we succeeded." Mira realized that he was right. Humans were not only capable individually, but could inspire and lead others to perform beyond their limits. Leo had shown her that courage combined with intelligence could change the course of events. The palace council arrived, witnessing the aftermath of the battle. Some were astonished, others impressed, and a few still skeptical. Mira stepped forward, addressing them with authority and pride. "This human has protected me, our people, and our kingdom. He has shown courage, intelligence, and leadership. We must recognize that humans are capable of more than we believed. They can be allies, teachers, and protectors." The council murmured, some nodding in agreement. Slowly, respect for humans grew among them. They realized that strength was not only measured by size or tradition, but by courage, intelligence, and the willingness to act when it mattered most. In the following days, Mira worked closely with Leo to strengthen the kingdom further. They trained the guards, improved strategies, and prepared for any future threats. Leo's presence changed the palace permanently, introducing new ways of thinking and acting that combined human ingenuity with Varelian skill. Mira felt a deep sense of hope. Humans were not only allies, but also teachers who could guide her people in new ways. Leo had proven that a single human could influence the outcome of events far beyond what anyone expected. One evening, Mira and Leo walked through the palace gardens. The air was filled with the fragrance of glowing flowers, and soft lights floated among the trees. Mira looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting the twin moons above. "You have taught us so much," she said. "Courage, intelligence, strategy. Humans are capable of greatness I never imagined. You have changed the way I see my world." Leo smiled, humble yet confident. "It is not just me. Humans survive by learning, adapting, and facing challenges together. That is how we succeed. And now your kingdom can use the same lessons to grow stronger." Mira felt a profound sense of respect and trust. Humans were unpredictable, brave, and capable of inspiring others. Leo had shown her that strength was not only in fighting but in thinking, leading, and protecting what mattered most. The twin moons rose high, casting silver light across the palace. Mira understood that the events of the past days had changed everything. Humans were no longer seen as fragile visitors. They were allies, capable of shaping the future with courage, intelligence, and determination. Leo had proven that one human could make a difference not only by fighting but by teaching, inspiring, and guiding. The palace forces had learned new strategies, and the council had begun to appreciate the value of human insight. Virelia was stronger, more prepared, and wiser because of this human. Mira felt confident in the future. The rogue faction had been defeated, conspiracies had been uncovered, and her kingdom was secure. But more importantly, she had seen the true potential of humans. They were brave, clever, and capable of greatness that could inspire entire civilizations. That night, as the palace rested under the glowing moons, Mira reflected on the journey. She had asked a human to protect her, and he had done far more than that. He had defended her, saved her kingdom, taught her people, and changed the way she saw strength itself. Leo had shown her that humans were extraordinary. Their courage, intelligence, and adaptability could overcome any obstacle. And for the first time, Mira felt that her kingdom, with humans as allies, could face any challenge that the universe might send.